of interest. And the third point is that in Islam we have helped people helping one another. People are encouraged to help one another. People are encouraged to give money and financial aid to one another. And we also need to nullify and eradicate the debts of people. And this crisis is a very important sign of the end of times. It is a sign of the coming of Mahdi and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So this financial crisis is one of the biggest incidents which will sign at these two important events. And this financial crisis will last for 7 years. It has started in 2007 and it will end in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Allah knows the best, of course. So in order to get rid of that financial crisis, we need to nullify the financial interest. We should not have any interest any longer. We need to decrease the amount of taxes inflicted on people. We need to eradicate the debts of people. And another important thing we need to do is to attach great importance to agriculture and industries of nurturing and animals. So all industries and markets related to these areas need to be supported so as to be able to get rid of this financial crisis. These are very vital things. So this would ease and diminish the biggest danger which is approaching. Another important point is that we have to better and amend the situation of hospitals. We need to offer free examinations, free medical examinations to poor people, and for those who are rich, they need to pay very little amounts of money for medicines and medical examination. So the services of medicine and health services in society need to be either very cheap or they need to be free. So these main points would solve the problem of the big financial crisis we are in. But the problem will really be solved during the time of the Messiah and with the coming of Jesus Christ. And after the coming of the Messiah, the world will enter into a very wealthy period. It would be an age of peace and great wealth, to the extent that this is written in religious texts. In that age, when people are offered financial aid or with sums of money or any property, they will feel ashamed to accept it because there will be such abundance. So we are moving towards Mahdi's coming and to the age when Islam will rule the whole world.
You're quite aware now of the first African-American president elected in the United States, and he assembled the greatest brain in the United States to try to deal with this problem. But I don't see any Muslim on his team, in spite of the fact he has some knowledge and tradition of Islam. His father was Muslim, his name was Hussein. Would you have wanted that you see some Muslims, a scholar or Muslims thinking in his cabinet or his team? At least they give him different take a different perspective on this global problem?
Well, Obama cannot do anything like that because he's under a very great pressure. This economic crisis is a miracle. It's a sign which shows us the fact that the end of times are approaching and the Mahdi and the resurrection of Jesus Christ is approaching. This is the end of times, and as you know, since the creation of this earth up to the time of the end of times, everything is predestined and everything is written in our fates. As you know, the world was created 15 million years ago after a big explosion, which is also explained in the Quran, and the world was created from nothing. Again, the Quran tells us this. So from the very beginning up to this time and until the very end, everything that will happen is already written down. So Bush lived his fate, and in the afterlife, Bush will have to justify and answer for his deeds. Bush, on the other hand, as I know him, is a person who believes in God, and he doesn't believe in Darwinism. These are very important things. But as for criticizing him, he could have behaved the Afghani and Iraqi people more benevolently and more lovingly. So this was his mistake. He was in error in that line. So this level, which will be following this one, will be a brighter future, and these problems will be solved after this level.
You see the Islamic Enlightenment. What is the Islamic model that we can look up to now?
In Turkey and in many other countries as well, if we compare the times, for example, the 1970s, in the 1970s, the amount of people who believed in Allah in Turkey was only 30%, and 70% of the Turkish population used to believe in Darwinism. But now these amounts have changed, and today 90% of the Turkish population believes in Allah, and people no longer believe in Darwinism. This is a great advancement. This is a miracle in itself. And we have been seeing the effects, the influence of this change of belief in politics as well. The effect is that a very qualified, a new spirited Muslim society is emerging. And these developments will go on in the future as well. And the Turkish and Islamic Union is acting very fastly to reach its completion. Very serious steps have already been taken to form this Turkish Islamic Union. Of course, I cannot give you the whole details of these steps approaching for the Turkish Islamic Union, because that would be too time-consuming for a program. But people will very easily find detailed information about that in my internet site, which is harunyahya.org or harunyahya.com. So in 10 years' time, the whole world will be ruled by the Islamic ethics. So in 10 or 20 years of time, Jesus Christ will come to the earth. So the world will turn into a completely different place. In Europe, for example, we have already been witnessing pieces of news and other articles which is being published in the media, which talk about the demise of materialism and the advent of creationism. So you will see that everything, all of these will come true in 10 or 20 years' time.
More than 80 years ago, a great Turkish leader, the founder of Mother Turkey, really transformed the country, the culture, the economy by, some might say, keeping Islam at the mosque and out of science and out. Now, do you feel you have destiny to correct that and bring Islam back to our daily life and our...
Atatürk himself supported the idea of a Turkish and Islamic union, and Atatürk was a very religious person. He was a true believer. He did not believe in Darwinism, and he closed down the Masonic lodges in Turkey, for example, and he knew that communism was a great threat for Turkey. So he was a perfect advocate of the Turkish Islamic Union. So our ideas are in complete parallel with Atatürk.
Complicated questions, but I don't want to end this without talking a little bit about what do you think of America as a country, as a people, as a culture, and the role of this destiny time that we are living in these days.
Americans are very joyous people. They are very good, well-intended. They are full of loveliness. They have very beautiful houses, very clean and very beautiful streets, full of greenery, and they are living in nature. They love nature. Americans love freedom. They are very keen on their freedoms. They are secular. They are very humanitarian.